Morning everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So we just came out of the woods yesterday for a little break. Today's Friday and been in the woods for the past over a month now, hauling out some hardwood, and now I'm cutting some spruce trees down for the sawmill. So today's maintenance day. Came out with the tractor and the loading cart this morning. As you saw, we just disconnected it off the tractor. I'll bring the tractor in the garage there. I pressure washed it to try to take the most of the mud off. And I've got a couple of things to do to it this morning. Today I've got to grease it up, grease all the grease fittings. Got a couple of bolts missing, and once you're in the woods for a while, you tend to lose some bolts. Things get loosened up and stuff. So it's maintenance day today. So I unhooked the logging cart there. Got to hook the hydraulic hoses off and the main pin, and what I've got is really starting to smell like spring out here. Yesterday morning is the first time I noticed that it's starting to smell like spring. So a couple of maintenance things we're doing today. A few weeks ago out into the woods, as you can see, there's a bunch of pins on this loader, and they're all greasable pins. One of them, so this is the cap. So you screw this on and it comes out the other side. One of these screws came loose, and the pin came out halfway and it broke. And so this is where it broke. This guy right here. So I put a temporary pin in there. I've been using it like that, but I ordered one from the tractor dealership. So we're putting that in today. I'm going to take that out and put it in. Here's a new piece. Here's what it looks like disassembled. I actually lost the bolt and the washer in the woods, so I got one here, and you got to put a rubber o-ring behind so the grease doesn't come out, and a bolt I had, and this is what it looks like. So if you look on the tractor here, it kind of stops the pin from spinning, and then there's a grease fitting in there. So once you put your grease gun into the grease fitting here, grease comes out this hole and greases this pin. And there's a lot of them on this tractor. There's 1, 2, 3 there. There's 2 on that end. 2 more here. And I think 3 on the bottom there. So there's a whole bunch of places where you got to grease this tractor. So something I just invested in. It's a lock-on grease coupler, and I suggest anybody that does a lot of greasing to do that. This is the regular one, so we'll change that up. But what you do is it's like an air coupler hose fitting. You couple that. It's a quick couple onto your grease fitting. I'll show you how that's done here. So I'm going to take this regular fitting off. These lock Lock couplers are a little more expensive, but worth the while. You lock that fitting onto your grease, that coupler onto your grease fitting, and then you have both hands to be able to grease your nipple. So we finally got that pin in. I had to do lift up the loader and kind of jig with it. Here's the new pin. See, it locks in here, and there's your grease fitting. That's what the original one was like. Put her in here, and then there's a cap or a washer with a rubber seal around it with a bolt, so that when you grease it, the grease doesn't come out of here. So I kind of had to manufacture one. This is what the factory deal looks like. I took one off of here. There's the pin that goes in there, and it goes over top here. And there's your big rubber seal. But you don't get that when I ordered the pin. I just got the pin, so I kind of manufactured something. I found a washer, and I got a rubber O-ring. So I should be able to put that O-ring on here like so, and then put my washer over top. I'll paint that orange, and I've got a bolt here and a lock washer. Yeah, doesn't quite look the same, but a little bit of orange paint. And that's repair number one. Now let's see how my new grease coupler works. Got to run the grease gun here. You can let go of your grease fitting. You don't have to hold it there. And away you go. See how she comes off here. Oh yeah, way better than the old way. Sometimes you got to really tug at them to get them off that grease nipple. That seems to work pretty good. So we had gusts of wind a couple of times, but the one time we had quite a major storm. We had gusts of wind, I think, of 120 kilometers an hour. That's like 70-mile-an-hour winds plus. That's blowing. But the thing is, around here, you never know when the wind is going to pick up and, you know, blow in a big snowstorm or, you know, a really significant wind. We've been getting a lot of wind, like dangerous wind. So, you know, I start building this, I'd have to build the whole thing all in one shot, put the walls up, the trusses up, and stabilize it, put braces and stuff, and then hope for the best. But that wind proved to me the other day that it would have blown it all down. So I'm glad I didn't get any further than I did with this project. This thing is supposed to be 48 feet long, 13 feet wide. Had I built all these walls and these trusses and assembled this whole structure, it would have completely decimated it. If you look up there, there's a section of wall that it blew down here, and it snapped a 2x4 crossways, not by the flat. It snapped it way up there. So had I built all this whole entire structure, it would have been blown down, blown away easily. Would have been ruined. So a lot of work for nothing. So change in plans. I think what we'll do now is I'll start from scratch. I'll remove all of this from this pad, this gravel pad, and I'll use the same beams. I'll put them on those patio blocks, not quite as high, and I'm going to put a wooden floor on top of that. Now, so I'll make a complete rectangle with these beams. I'll put a wooden floor on top of that. I'll put some beams in the center as well to support those planks. I'll make them 1.5 inches thick. So essentially it'll be like a huge shed. So beams, wooden floor, some walls, and originally I built these walls 9 feet high to be able to pull in my tractor and stuff in here. And I wanted to build some gable trusses on top, and that was going to make a pretty high structure. The higher the structure, the more the wind will catch it. So what I'm going to do now is just a leaning, like a, I guess they call it a shed roof, like 6 feet high on one end, maybe 8 feet high on the other end here. 48 feet long again, but it'll be, you know, wooden floor, walls, one wall, and it'll be way more stable. And I think that's the way I was going to go. Originally I was going to put a concrete floor and then put anchor bolts, but a concrete floor on this, even if I pour it myself, is going to be quite expensive. Everything's quite expensive, so I can put a wooden floor on this a lot cheaper than I can pour a concrete floor. So that's about a wrap for today. Still have a few things to do on the tractor before she goes back in the woods. I'm gonna tighten up the lug nuts on the wheels and a few little minor adjustments, but other than that, she's ready to go. I did all the work that was needed, and we'll head back in the woods for some sawing and a little bit more logging, and then I'll be done that. And once the bugs hit, usually around beginning of May, I'll haul the sawmill back here, and hopefully I can work on that building out there. And if anybody's watching and has any other suggestions on how to build that building, I'm all in. I've changed my mind. Like, this is like the third major plan change, but you know, like I said before, things happen for a reason. My original plan was not going to work out, that's for sure. And then the concrete floor, you know, that's not really possible. So I think this plan is gonna work out. We'll see. But if anybody has any other ideas, shoot them at me, and we'll see what we can do. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.